The Portland Trailblazers did something that honestly should be illegal. They should be arrested for just what went down because they pulled off a highway robbery to finally get Damian Lillard, his best teammate since CJ McCollum. So we have a whole trade to break down for you guys. It's absolutely insane. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. If you think I talk way too much in these videos, we upload 1-minute shorts onto my Instagram and onto my TikTok page. Now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? This past year, one of the biggest narratives surrounding all of basketball is what the hell is going to happen to Damian Lillard, who's been in a very unique situation. I mean, the man signed a supermax contract extension not too long ago, so he is committed to the Portland Trailblazers for the long haul. Despite all this, there were trade rumors surrounding him, which is something that honestly never made much sense to me. When a player is under contract until the 2025 season and he's currently 31 years old, odds are he is not going to be stamping his feet demanding a trade, especially if he's getting paid a super max contract. So despite the Portland Trailblazers clearly being headed towards a rebuild, despite them pretty much giving away their players for free over this past trade deadline and the offseason preceding the trade deadline, despite them moving on from Terry Stotts, bringing on Chauncey Billups, and clearly taking a step back this past year, and Damian Lillard not looking as good as he usually does in the beginning of the season, and we could obviously blame that on injury. It seemed like through it all, Damian Lillard remained committed to the Portland Trailblazers, and the Portland Trailblazers said themselves that they had no intention whatsoever of trading Damian Lillard, which was very shocking. This is a team that traded CJ McCollum at the trade deadline, and to be honest, I wasn't necessarily a huge fan of the return that they received for CJ McCollum. The direction of this team was very strange because if you are a team that's rebuilding, chances are you're not going to want to hold on to your all-star that's 31 years old throughout this entire rebuild. By the time all of the new rookies that come in and that you decide to develop end up getting to a point where they could play their peak basketball, Damian Lillard will probably be 35 or 36 years old. So it seems like the Trailblazers are trying to do both at once. They're trying to build around Damian Lillard, get him good teammates so he could at least be somewhat competitive, and at the same time, they're trying to do a full-scale rebuild. And to be fair, there are pieces that you could be excited about if you're a Portland Trailblazers fan. Personally, my favorite would be Anthony Simons, but it seems like the Portland Trailblazers got additional help, and they didn't even need to give up much in order to get that help. And as a Laker fan, I'm personally very appalled at this trade. So Adrian Wojnarowski just announced that the Detroit Pistons have traded Jerami Grant to the Portland Trailblazers for a 2025 first round pick via the Milwaukee Bucks, sources tell ESPN. Now, for information about that pick, Woj continues to say that the 2025 first round pick via Milwaukee is protected numbers 1 through 4. Detroit sends Grant into a $21 million trade exception, and the Pistons now have $43 million in salary cap space for free agency. Hey, maybe the Pistons will start pursuing Kyrie Irving. I'm just kidding. But I'll tell you what, if this video gets to 5,000 likes, I'll bring you guys our third upload of today, which would be a Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant update. If you guys want it, let me know in the comment section down below. So it seems like the Jerami Grant saga is officially over, but Woj isn't done yet because Detroit swaps the 2022 second round picks, getting 36 for 46 with Portland as well. Denver, I don't know what Denver's doing in this. I wonder if Woj really meant to say Detroit here. Detroit gets a 2025 second round pick back from Portland, and Portland sends the most favorable 2026 second round pick between Portland and New Orleans to Detroit, sources said. So let's break down this bad boy, man, because if you're a Portland Trailblazers fan, you should be really freaking happy. Now, I understand at first you're looking at that draft pick saying it's the 2025 first round pick. It's going to be a valuable pick, but here's the thing, it's not even the Portland Trailblazers pick, it's the Milwaukee Bucks pick. Now, bear in mind, that pick could be valuable. We don't know where the Bucks are going to be in 3 years down the line. And it seems like it's continuing with this trend of, if you want to trade for a good role player now, we're going to want a very valuable pick that you're not even thinking about right now that's going to screw your franchise over in the future. Trust me, I'm a Laker fan. I would know. Now, I'm personally a little salty about this. I'm looking at my Los Angeles Lakers thinking, you couldn't have executed this trade? You couldn't have given up all reliable to take back Jerami Grant? How the hell were the Portland Trailblazers able to do this, yet you weren't able to do this? But I don't want to steal the Portland Trailblazers thunder. Let's give the Portland Trailblazers the respect that they deserve and give them the analysis that they deserve as a result of this trade. So Jerami Grant really set himself up for success by going to the Detroit Pistons. And what I mean by that is, if you look at his entire career statistics, this man throughout his career averaged 11 points per game, averaged 4 rebounds per game, and had 28.1 wins contributed throughout his entire career. Then he goes to the Detroit Pistons, and in the 2020 to 2021 season, he happens to boost his value to the point where he's averaging 22 points per game. He's averaging 35% from 3, shooting 6 threes per game, and honestly, that may have had something to do with the fact that there wasn't really much else talent on that Detroit Pistons team this past year. After slightly improving their team and drafting Cade Cunningham, his statistics slightly regressed to 19 points per game, shooting about the same percent from 3. So what do I think about this trade? Well, if you're a Portland Trailblazers fan, this is a no-brainer. I mean, I've been waiting to see how you are building around Damian Lillard in the now and trying to put a team around him that could, I guess, compete moving forward. So I guess this is the very first step in that direction. At the same time, it's not like you're giving up much to get Jerami Grant. I mean, he's a really good role player and a fantastic player to put next to Damian Lillard moving forward. He's very underrated on the defensive side of the floor. Whenever he's been on contending teams, he's always had a positive defensive box plus minus, which is very rare in today's NBA, but that's not something that you typically hear about Jerami Grant. So I think this is an easy A+ if you're the Portland Trailblazers. You might be wondering, why on earth would the Detroit Pistons do this to begin with? Well, the Detroit Pistons already had a bit of a logjam at the power forward position. I don't know what Marvin Bagley's role going forward is going to be, but at the same time, there is a chance that the Detroit Pistons decide to go power forward or small forward with the number 5 pick in tomorrow's NBA draft. That might be something that motivated them to move on from Jerami Grant this early on, but I feel like they could have potentially gotten more. Maybe it's just my interpretation, but it seems like the Trailblazers just absolutely stole Jerami Grant from the Detroit Pistons. If this is all it took to get him, why didn't you trade him during the trade deadline last year? Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about all this. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.